Hello 10th graders, welcome back to OnTrack. My name is Andrew, and in this module I'll be talking to you about peer leadership skills, developing leadership skills and becoming a good leader. Because being a good leader is a skill that can be really important for you throughout your life, not just now in high school and college. In a career that you might have, it might allow you to ascend the ladder of a company so that you become a boss or a manager or something like that because you've shown that you can lead people. But first, one thing to remember is you don't have to lead at all times. Those who try to lead at all times end up often getting on people's nerves because they're always people feel like they're trying to push them around. Instead, it's good to pick and choose the situations where you're going to be a leader and pick those ones where you're most comfortable leading. So if you're a really good history student and you have a group project in history, well, that's a good situation where, all right, you know what you're doing. You feel like you can take the lead on that group project and bring everyone together and make the best project possible. So again, try and find those situations where for you, you're most comfortable taking the lead. So good leading, what does it mean? Well, it means getting people, one of the things it means is getting people to be able to work as a team. So again, on that group project, you're going to have different people who have different ideas, different value systems. You want to bring them together to compromise on the best ideas that are going to work best to get you that A or whatever you need on that group project. And it's you as the leader who needs to sort of talk to a couple people who might be arguing and get them to see each other's point of view. That's good leadership. It also just generally means positively motivating people and solving conflicts, as I just talked about. But it can also mean taking stances and taking tough and unpopular stances, I should say. So again, we talked about in the last module about bullying and how it's important to stand up for those who you see getting bullied. That's leadership. That's good leadership, to stand up for a kid who's really getting pushed around or made fun of and say, hey, to everyone else around, that's not okay. We should not be doing this to this other student, to our peer. That's good leadership, but that's going to be unpopular. It might get you made fun of or pushed around as well. But taking that stand, that peer of yours is going to look up to you and say, wow, that was really great that this person stood in and stood up for me. So that's important. And think, again, to go back really quickly to the point about finding situations where you feel comfortable in, it's important to find those situations where you think you might be a good leader. So think about either sports or different clubs that you're in, or again, classes that you're good in where you think you might be a good leader. And then try to apply these skills. These are the skills of a good leader. Well, first of all, competence. We already kind of touched on that. The importance of, you don't have to be the best at something to be a leader in it. You don't have to be the best basketball player to be the leader on the team. But if you're the worst person on the team, it might be a bit tougher to get people to listen to you because they're going to say, well, what do you know? You're not very good. Being competent or good at something helps people look to you as a leader in the first place, and then you can use that as a jumping off point to sort of push yourself into being a real and true leader. But also, even more important, is communicating well. And that means talking to people and getting them to see each other's points of view and stuff like that. But maybe more importantly, it means listening. Listening really well to someone. And this isn't just a skill for being a leader, but throughout your life, listening really well to someone, hearing what they're saying, making them feel heard is one of the most important skills you can have, again, to be a leader and throughout your life. Because when people see that, they look to you and say, wow, that person made me feel like I was the only person in the room. They're listening to me. They made me feel heard. And that makes people feel special. It's such an important skill to be able to listen well. Other skills of being a leader, good judgment and being able to admit when you need help, to say, okay, I know in this situation I'm supposed to be the leader of the group, but I don't really know what to do in this situation. Let's hear what other people have to say. And then along those same lines, a willingness to stand up to adversity and uncertainty when you say, I don't know what to say, or I do know what to say, or I do know what we should do in this situation, but it's going to be tough, and getting other people to be able to push them to push through those really tough and adverse situations. And then also self-awareness, knowing your strengths, and knowing also your weaknesses. And again, the points where you might need to stand aside and let other people be a leader. These are all parts of sort of the different building blocks of becoming a good leader and being a good leader, again, in those situations where you're best suited to be a leader and not trying to be the leader at all times. Instead, stepping in when it's best for you. So why is it important to have good leadership or to be a leader? Well, as we talked about, leadership does not, and good leadership does not always equal popularity. But in the end, having a leader and a good leader push people to do what is right, even if other people don't like it, is really important, both in your peer group and then throughout your life in different situations. That's really important. But then also to tie this back to college readiness, because we're a college readiness program, colleges love to see students who are leaders in their high school clubs and leaders in general. When a teacher writes about a recommendation and they talk about that student being a great leader, colleges absolutely love to see that, because it shows that you as a person are strong-willed and self-possessed enough to be able to not just do well for yourself, but inspire others and lead others. And that is so great. And one thing to note here, and again, I talked about this a few times here about the fact that you don't have to always be a leader, because you might think, oh, well, some people are natural leaders. And that may very well be the case, where some people are able in almost any situation to sort of step in and take the lead. But that doesn't mean, even if you don't feel you're that type of person, that you can't take the lead in situations where it's good for you to do so, where you feel comfortable and you're really good at a skill or something like that, and you're able to take the lead. Do that in those situations and develop these skills over time. Before I finish, just want to say the college keyword for this module is the University of Minnesota. The University of Minnesota. Again, that's the University of Minnesota. If you have any questions, as always, you can send them to us at questions@uif.org. We hope that you'll go out there and be a good leader in your community. Thank you for joining me, and make sure you stay on track.